that? Oh God, I'm gonna die. I gotta get this on camera. No. Hey everybody, welcome to the Marino Show. I'm your host, David Marino, and today I'm interviewing filmmaker Nigel David. He just completed his film, The Midnight Owls, and it will be premiering soon. We're going to talk about that and all other things indie along with music. So Nigel, thank you for joining me today.
Hey, David, how you doing? Good to be here. Hello, Austin. How you guys doing? Greetings from the Chicagoland area.
Well, first of all, I got to watch your film, The Midnight Owls, and I loved it. I thought it was trippy. It was cool. I won't give anything away, but it has to do with a serial killer, the mind of a serial killer, and I love watching documentaries on real life serial killers. I think a lot of us do. Tell me a little bit about the film and how you went about making it.
I'm old enough, and I grew up in the age of the Ted Bundy and John Wayne Gacy, and that was we were terrified as a kids. So it was always like, what were these people thinking? What made them do what they do? Obviously, there's trauma. There's got to be some sort of something happened to them. I mean, so there's been tons of studies, and they lie, and it's all kinds of stuff. So I was just very fascinated by what makes these unfortunate souls tick. I mean, like what makes them do the things that they do. What is that train of thought? So I just decided to kind of make a, I wanted to make a film that, because I mean, when you see these films out there, you'll see like a little flashback and this and that, but you never really see like the killer like gearing up, like he's getting himself ready, And I always kind of wondered, on some level, if that's what they have to do what they do, is to gear up, like to get mentally prepared to do this. So this is just kind of like a film, kind of looking at it from that point of view, from the killer's point of view, because I just think that just there's merit to it, and there's something that we should definitely, as a community, as people, should be interested in, and try to figure out. So I just kind of just took that basis and kind of ran with it, and just wanted to just make that, so they could, so we could kind of take a look inside from the POV of the killer and see what makes that person tick. So that's basically what that was the catalyst basically for the movie.
Well, it was very well acted, and the guy who played the serial killer, is that Brian Voiles?
Yeah, so Brian Voiles. So yeah, amazing story. I had hired a guy to play Sinister Sam, and I was on the fence with him. I liked his look, but not so much. But then I go to this horror meetup in Chicago. They have these horror meetups. Got such great networking in Chicago, um, and so I went to this horror meetup at Logan Square Theater. It's a classic theater, beautiful theater. Music Box, Logan Square. Those are just iconic theaters here in Chicago. And I go through these red curtains, and I look to my right, and I see the back of his head, long hair, and I'm like, okay, okay, cool. And me, I'm the networking guy, so I go straight to the nearest person that's near me, and I start talking, start networking. And I look back, and I saw the side of this guy's face. And I'm like, oh, this is kind of interesting. And then I'm talking, and as I'm talking, I look and I move myself, position myself so I can see his full face. And I saw his full face, and I was like, that is Sinister Sam. That is my guy. I don't know what I got to do or what I have to say to get this guy. So I actually picked up my phone, texted the guy that I had hired. I'm like, dude, look, I'm sorry. This is not going to happen. This is before I even talked to Brian. And I was just like, I got to do what I got to do. This in my head, the person I saw was this person. Walked straight over to him, introduced myself, and I told him what I was doing. And he's like, "I've never acted before," and I'm like, "It doesn't matter. You have the look. Let me work with you." And sure enough, Brian, being the gracious, humble guy he is, he's like, "Yeah, I got nothing else to do. Why not? I love horror and that." And we coached him, and I wrote the script with him, and I got his input, and I gave him the freedom to become this character. And obviously, you've seen the movie, and it's he just gravitated toward it, and envelope, took it in, personal, and just put this amazing performance out there that I think is definitely just terrifying and also very real. Because again, this film being about what makes a person do the things that they do, what the evil man does, and I think he just did this amazing job with it. And then the music, turns out he had a music studio, and I was able to help a little bit on some of the music, but he actually wrote the whole original score. Lonnie Bones, that's his group, that's his thing. Lonnie Bones on Spotify, check him out. He wrote the original score for it, and it just came out amazing. And I'm just the luckiest person who just walk through a red curtain and see this. And I also got my co-star Nora Willie, who plays Dr. Meredith Knox and Miriam Knox. They're best friends, and so I was like, it was like a 2-for-1 for me, and I couldn't, I couldn't pass that up, and it just worked out beautiful. And both of them just um, did an amazing job to me, for no acting experience, and they just taking that seriously, learning the lines. I just, again, to Brian and Nora, just absolutely phenomenal.
Patient shows signs of antisocial personality disorder, borderline psychopathy.
This is Samantha Grimes with K-Face News. This just in. The funeral for Miriam Knox, twin sister to the famed psychiatrist Dr. Meredith Knox, will take place today on the north side of Chicago. Police say she is the fourth victim of the serial killer only known as Sinister Sam. More on this at the top of the hour.
Happy highway to fuck you, town!
The K-Face News. This is your opportunity to set the record straight.
Man, hallelujah!
I really loved the choice of the visual direction that you took with the film. To me, it kind of reminded me a little bit of like a music video almost, in that there's these really fast cuts, and then there's kind of this distorted, look sometimes with the color, and it's kind of trippy, but it's not distracting. It's actually like very complimentary to the tone of the script, the tone of just the film. It really, I felt, played well into the story. So what was your thought process behind that? Because I thought that was very creative and very different. So how did you go about sort of storyboarding or thinking about that visual aspect of the film?
So when doing that, I wanted to take you inside his mind. So this happens inside of his mind. In our head, in our dreams, things are off kilter. Things are don't look just right in our dreams, in our nightmares. Things are just a little bit off. And so I wanted to create that because this basically takes place. This is in here. And then there's a reality to it. But again, I would say 90% of this movie takes place in his head. And so to kind of convey basically that feeling, because again, when we dream, and even in our thought process is so fast. So when you go to plan to do something, you're always it's this flash here, flash here, flash here. So I just try to create because when I make films, I try to create an experience. I want to bring you in to what the characters are feeling. That spirit. Films that have become an experience that draw you in. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Eraser. This is why I love the Midnight Movie. Anything that Lynch, Kubrick, I mean, they take you in and they put you in that that situation. They give you that experience. So that's where I wanted you to be. I wanted my audience to be the co-pilot to what Sinister Sam is thinking, what he's going through to do what he's got to do to gear up. So that's basically, that was my thought process in storyboarding it, which is basically just looking at it from the inside, the other side of the eyeballs, I guess. That's what I was calling it, the other side of the eyeballs from the inside out.
So now that this film is done, and thank you so much for sending it to me, for allowing me to watch it and talk about it with you. Now that it's done, what's the next step?
So I got my team, Rob Tovey, my editor, also Dr. Jacob Graves. I got Adam, who was my stage and prop guy. I got him kind of late in the thing, but he's added some stuff. Brian, Nora, my daughter Paige, who's actually in the movie. I don't want to say who she is, but if you see this face, you'll recognize her in the movie. But yeah, so just being able to bring all those people together, and what we're going to be doing at the end of this month, August 31st in Chicago, the Chicago premiere of The Midnight Owls is going to be at Debut Alley, and it's on Milwaukee Avenue. It's a great place, a little kind of like a art shop that has all kinds of different independent artists and art and stuff like that. And they have these back rooms that they put up the curtains and the screens, and they have ACYL, who Any Color You Like is a distributing company that I'm working with out of Chicago, and I think that they're worldwide, and they've been phenomenal. They've been great. They're on board with what I do, and so they've created the movie poster. They're creating radio shows for me. The Buzz. They got me on. So here in Chicago Film Events is a app that's run by Jenny, who is this amazing person in the film community. So the first time I went to a networking event, I was turned on to her Instagram feed. And so, again, she is the pulse of anything that happens in Chicago, the film-wise, goes through her IG account. It goes through her app. You go there to find out. And so I was able to, talk with her and get with ACYL and just do this whole premiere. I'm actually going to be able to do a Q&A. And I'm going to be able to bring my team up because I'm so appreciative of my team. Rob, Adam, like I said, Brian, Nora, Lucinda, who's also in the movie. I'm not going to say who she is, but she is in the movie. And we're all going to be at Debut Alley. And they're making a great, huge deal for me. And it actually, on the movie poster and their ad on Ginny, which again, my personal bucket list thing was to get on Ginny's site. I mean, to get on her feed, because everybody here in Chicago sees it. And sure enough, thanks to ACYL and to Jenny, I actually got on the Chicago Film Events feed. And I am so proud of my team and myself for pulling this together. And ACYL, Will, Anna Marie, I mean, they're just been phenomenal behind me. And just kind of give me free reign to do what I want. So it's always nice.
So I know, and I interview a lot of indie filmmakers, directors, actors, and I love interviewing or speaking with people in the indie world because it is such a labor of love. You have to do a lot with a little. So how long did it take to film The Midnight Owls? And, what was the process in getting all of it together before the actual filming?
I had just filmed another movie called Visible Lies. It's available on Nigel David Productions YouTube. It's a Visible Lies. That's my first film. It's 44 minutes. And I did this film on $14. Spent $14 on that film. 44 minutes, $14. People say it's looks like a $10,000-$15,000 budget. $14. It can be done. And so finishing that project, I was kind of in a space where I was like, what am I going to do next? What am I going to do next? I love what I'm doing. And I didn't quite have a team. I was by myself. I went to a friend of mine named Nick, who was a scriptwriter who also does VFX. And I was talking to him about this, and this is a character. Sinister Sam is a character I had created about 12 years ago. I had made a music, kind of like a Pink Floyd The Wall concept album thing dealing with this character. And I was like, man, I really wanted to bring that to life. So I went to my buddy Nick and I was like, hey, do you think you can write this? And he was just like, I don't know. Maybe you should just write it. And I was just like back and forth, back and forth. And, and he goes, you know what? If you want to say what you want to say, you need to write it. And you know what? I was like, you know what? You're right. And sure enough, from that point on, we left the place, his place. I went home and I banged out the script that night. Like I just literally was just like got my pencil paper and I was like, you know what? He's right. Boom. And it just poured out of me. And I was able to create this, just off him just telling me, hey, you know what, get off your butt and do it yourself. Do your thing. If you got something to say it. That's like, again, as filmmakers and stuff, we're always kind of like, kind of negative to where I was like, can I do this? Can I do this? And you know what? I'm at an age and I'm at a time in my life where I'm like, you know what? I got nothing to lose. I got everything to gain. I'm going to do it. And sure enough, I was able to. And again, right after that, I went to that horror meetup, met Brian, told him about it. He was like, yeah, let's do it. And from that point on, it was just like, it wasn't even a question. It was like, this is what we're going to do. I storyboarded it, got everybody together. I was networking at some of the other places, the Arrogant Frog and some of the other different film networking things that we have in Chicago. I met Rob, I met Adam, and I had known Lucinda for quite a while. She's a stand-up comedian. That's gonna be a whole big thing coming up with her. And I brought her in, and just everybody we just gelled, and we became a team. We became Nigel David Productions, and again, I'm so thankful for for them because the talent that I was able to just pick, just randomly out of it, and to be able to be blessed with that. And we all came together and I said, this is my vision. This is what I want to do. And they said, all right, let's do it. And we probably it probably took about 4 months to shoot because again, we all have day jobs. We all, we're all struggling indie, so, we got to schedule this, schedule that and that, but yeah, about 4 months to get it filmed. And then I just worked my butt off to get it edited down. And I handed it off to Rob, and Rob, magic editor that he is, he's like, this is what needs to be done. Boom, 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 boom. I was like, do it, change. And the Midnight Owl's final product came out, and it just flowed. And that was the most beautiful thing about this process, is that Visible Lives was like 9 months of just trying and learning and stuff like that. But Midnight Owls just flowed. And it was just a beautiful thing that everybody was just like, yes, less. And that, my thing is, I'm the yes guy. You come to me with an idea, I'm going to say yes. Even if it's a bad idea, let's make it a good idea. I'm going to say yes. And that's what it takes to be a filmmaker. That's what it takes to be entertainer. You got to be able to say yes. And I was lucky enough to find the people that said yes. And here we are now. I'm talking to you on your amazing show. And I am just, I couldn't be any more happier right now.
Well, you did mention a little earlier Pink Floyd, The Dark Side of the Moon. So tell me how.
Yeah. So I am a huge Pink Floyd fan. I'm wearing a Tool shirt today, but believe me, Pink Floyd is my all-time favorite band. So Dark Side of the Moon. Everybody everybody knows the thing behind The Wizard of Oz, and I'm like, you know what? I've watched it, and does it sync up? Maybe, I guess. I don't know. It is what it is. But I was like, but when I made Visible Lies, I literally made a conscious effort to make it pretty much the exact same length as Dark Side of the Moon. So if you got tired of listening to the actors and the people, you could actually turn down the sound and listen to Dark Side of the Moon and actually watch the movie, and actually filmed it basically as it could go together. Because again, that's my tribute out to Pink Floyd. That's my tribute out to David and Roger and Nick and Rick. And but I just thought that would be fun and interesting to do a little Easter egg on that, just to see if people would enjoy it. Because people watch Visible Lives and they're like, oh, what is this? And they're like, go back and just for fun. Because that's what you do. You put on Wizard of Oz, Dark Side of the Moon. You got a bunch of your friends around. You're having fun partying. It's just so I was like, let's just do that. And sure enough, it did it. And, just why not? That's what I'm saying. Why not? Visible Lies is on YouTube. It's on Nigel David Productions. Just look it up and subscribe. Make sure you subscribe. I'd appreciate the subscription. And yeah, it's down there. It's in the list. I have a bunch of commercial stuff and a bunch of other stuff that's there. Trailers for Midnight Owls and that. So, by all means, go check it out. It's my first outing, full outing. I've done a lot of different little shorts and little stuff before, but never was bold enough to make the 44-minute statement. So I made that statement. I woke up. I'm like, I'm gonna make a movie. Made a movie, and that's kind of what I'm about. It's just like no matter how bad things are in our lives, what's in here is what matters, and what we want to put out is what matters, and who we want to be is what matters. And so I'm just doing this because I can and I want to, and it's just I'm lucky enough to be able to do it. It's amazing people that I work with. I'm a huge Hunter Thompson fan. And in Fear and Loathing, he says, anything worth doing is worth doing right. It's the American dream in action. It's a quote, and I live by that. And if you can dream it, and again, it's in Rocky Horror. Everybody knows that at the end, if you don't dream it, be it. It's in the song. Frankenfurter says it to you. Don't dream it, be it. And that's what I want to, that's what I like to do. It's just, I'm dreaming it, I'm going to be it. And again, lucky enough to be around the same people that have the same mindset. And so, but anyways, I'm sorry.
No, you're good. So the Midnight Owls will premiere at the end of August 31st,
Yes.
as you mentioned. After it premieres, what is the plan to roll it out to the public, or do you plan to share it on any public platforms once you've had the premiere of the Midnight Owls?
So yeah, I'm going to be putting it out on YouTube, but I'm also want to get it to a wider range. The story is a start of a franchise. It is the first story in a trilogy. Everybody's doing the trilogy, so yes, I'm guilty of doing the trilogy. So it is the first story in the trilogy of what is Sinister Sam, and I'm going to be looking for funding. I didn't want to look for funding when I made the movie. I didn't want to have to use anybody else's money for it. I used my own money. I financed it myself. But on the back end of it, to get into film festivals and to get it out there is where I'm kind of looking at now. So I wanted to put it out at Debut Alley and ACYL. Again, they're working with us, and they're going to be having distribution, worldwide for it. But I also wanted to do some fundraising for it because, again, this is just the first chapter of this story. And, and I'll be doing a lot of fundraising, a lot of Indiegogo type stuff after this. But I'm just kind of just building this up for this right now because I'm just really excited about having the Chicago premiere. And then after that, it'll be available on YouTube, and it's going to be available, pretty much anybody's able to see it. But but it's also, again, if anybody wants to be involved and want to see the next story, the next chapter to the story, that's when I want, you guys, to get that funding for that and make Midnight Owls Part 2 even bigger. So basically that's kind of my plan, is to get it out there after that, and then to really go after the fundraising, kind of post, which I know a lot of people just do it pre, and which I'm kind of doing a production, pre-funding for another movie called Lucinda Lives Matter, which will be coming out hopefully sometime this winter. We're gearing up for that right now. So we're already in pre-production for that. And so, yeah, I mean, basically, that's the plan right now. And then you see what ACYL will do for us. And then, like I said, if anybody down there in Austin, I mean, Austin that's the mecca for entertainment. I mean, you guys are amazing down there. I just absolutely love it there. So yeah, I'm just gonna be basically putting out there and just kind of hold my hand out, like, hey, if anybody wants to help with the next one, it's wide open. So that's basically my plan. If it's a good plan, I don't know. If it's a bad plan, I don't know. But we're gonna go with it.
Well, that's great. I love that you're going to be doing a trilogy with this, and then you have your other film. What's the other film that's going to be coming out hopefully in the fall?
Yeah, so Lucinda Lives Matter. Lucinda is also in the Midnight Owls, but she's this amazing comedian that I've known for probably 4 or 5 years. We've done some video stuff together, and so she plays a part in the Midnight Owls, and she is this just this amazing personality, and she has this amazing story in her life, and going along with like the David Lynch worth of trying to find ideas. You go fishing. You always explain it as going fishing. I latched onto this idea that Lucinda, her story in itself is an amazing story. It's an amazing story of survival for a woman and for this thing that she got put through. And so, but she's also this personality that's just absolutely amazing. She has this infectious laugh that just fills a room, and she has this amazing red hair, and she is just phenomenal. Like Brian, as phenomenal as Brian is as Sinister Sam, Lucinda as Lucinda is just the exact same thing. So we decided to, make it basically a movie. It's like a road trip movie, basically. So Sinister Sam, horror. I love comedy too. So we're going to be doing this comedy with her, showing her path from one point, from point A to point B, and it's going to be like a half narrative, half scene. We got some crazy things planned for it. Adam is my stage and prop guy who does amazing work, paper mache and puppets and all that kind of cool stuff. He's making he's going to basically be creating this whole inside of this car that she's going to be driving in. It's going to be kind of like a time machine, and it's going to be 20 different scenes from her life. So yeah, it's going to be the biggest undertaking I've taken on, but it's going to be phenomenal, and I'll have a lot more information on that. And she's actually going to make an appearance at Debut Alley, and we're actually going to be doing some more interview stuff and some more crowdfunding for that kind of stuff coming up here.
So I have to ask, because I interview a lot of people about horror movies, and since the Midnight Owls has that horror kind of feel and the genre, is there a horror movie that you loved growing up or that you love today? What's your favorite?
Okay, so all right, so growing up, I grew up in the 70s, a different time. A lot of parents didn't quite know what they were doing. It's a different time. So there's a little movie called Maniac, 1981. Joe Spinell, who was in The Godfather, he was in the Rocky, he was, and it's this grindhouse film that was shown to me. I was in punishment, and I was put in this room, locked in this room, and I was shown this movie, and I was told that this guy will come after me if I don't straighten up. Yeah, exactly. Different time. Trauma. Hello. And I watched this movie because I was forced to watch this movie, and it affected me so much because if you watch Maniac, and basically that movie is a very big influence on Midnight Owls, because in Maniac you hear his inner voice, and it's he's a killer, but it's also there's an empathetic motive behind this. This man went through this as a child, and now he is who he is because of this.